Hey all, it's Jess from Sunflower Dairy, and I'm out here with the goats today. It's actually a bit warmer today than it has been. It's been quite a few times it's been in the negatives, and it's actually like in probably the mid-20s today, so it actually feels like a heat wave, even though a lot of you in warmer places are probably like, that's cold. But anyway, I'm out here with the goats today, and I just wanted to let you all see the goats and also talk to you a little bit about kind of goat care and how we like to do stuff with the goats. Hang on, there's goats behind the camera, and they're probably going to try to tip it over. Come on, let's go. Alright, so as you can see, the goats are behind me. So I have the Nigerian Dwarves, and they're a smaller breed, so they're a nice for a homestead that doesn't have tons of land, like full-size goats. They're not as big as like a cow or something, but they do take up a bit more space. So the miniature goats are nice because, you don't need as much room as a full-size goat. So they're nice for smaller homesteads, especially if you're getting started and you just want a smaller homesteading animal. They're nice for that. So with goats, they a lot of times mostly eat foliage. So like hay, grass, leaves, stuff like that. They're foragers. They like to forage for their food, and they don't really graze like cows do. They like to go through, and they like brushy stuff, so they're good for like clearing out an area, like with briars and lots of just all kinds of like tall stuff that isn't really good for pasture. Goats are good for clearing that kind of stuff out, so that's one good thing that goats are for. Also, a lot of people like goats for dairy because a lot of people don't have room for a cow, but they do a lot of times have room for one or two goats, so they're nice for dairy. And so they're over there eating some hay right now, but also another thing you can feed them is like alfalfa pellets, or just a basic goat feed. Something that you do have to be careful though is with male goats. You don't want to give them too much grain because it's not good for their urinary tract. So basically you just want to give them like hay and foliage and alfalfa pellets and greens pretty much. So, and then also another thing that sometimes for goats you need to check under their eyes. You pull their eye down and check the color under their eye to see what color the underneath their eyelid is, to see if it's red, pink, or white, because what that eyelid color is telling you is about parasites, because goats can get parasites because if they're eating grass and stuff off the ground, then sometimes they can pick up parasites, which if you pull their eye and look under their eye, under their eyelid on the inside, then that color will tell you, usually if it's really light pink or white, that usually means that they're having a parasite issue. So I try to check that at least once a month. So you need to kind of check that to make sure that they're doing good and they're healthy. Also, another thing is, kind of rub them down, see how their body feels, making sure they're keeping a lot of bulk and, they feel good and they feel like, they're holding their weight properly. Especially in the wintertime, you want to, make sure that they're doing well and they're healthy. Also, the next thing is to check their feet. So you want to bring up their hooves and check the bottom of their hooves so that you can see that, well, one, if their feet are okay. Like sometimes goats can get hoof rot if they're in water or a wet spot in the ground, and so you want to check that. And then the other thing is you want to check and see their hooves grow. just kind of like, you know, a toenail. So you want to see how their hooves are doing. If they're growing out, then you want to trim those. And because if their hooves get too long, then after a while they're going to have problems walking, because either their hooves are going to start rolling around, or they're going to start like bending underneath their foot, and it's going to be hard for them to walk, which if that goes too long, then they could go paralyzed. So you want to make sure you keep up on that. And the other thing is that, you know, it can be like just really hard for them to walk or stay healthy, or even like, you know, their legs to move properly. So that's another thing that you want to make sure of. And then for goats, usually most of the time, like for breeding, a lot of people will breed in the fall and then have baby goats in the spring, because goats usually are about 5-ish months until they have a baby. So a lot of times people will breed in like November or December to have babies, you know, like early to mid spring. So, but yeah, the goats are chilling back there, eating some hay. Tanner, Tucker, and Turner are back there, and they're just loving life, loving their hay. Goats love to eat, and a lot of people say that goats will eat anything. Like some people say goats will eat like tin cans and stuff. No, they don't. And if they did eat that, that's not good. You might want to take that goat to the vet. But that's a myth that goats will eat anything. They will, you know, try to chew on your hair or your clothing, or, you know, stuff like that. Just, you know, they're seeing what stuff is, but, you know, they're not going to eat like tin cans and stuff like that, like people say, as it's, you know, a myth or whatever. But so another thing is for goats that you want to make sure they have minerals. So you can get like a loose mineral mix for goats, and you want to make sure they have those minerals, because goats need certain minerals for their bodies to, you know, do well, stay healthy, for their bodies to, you know, fight against certain things. So you really want to make sure that your goats get proper minerals. All right, all, I'm gonna go over, say hi to the goats. Boy. Hey, Tanner. You doing so good? All right, all, thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.